Okay, so welcome to round three of Your Vibe Matters. It was never meant to be a series, but here we are. And when I did the last one, it seemed to me that the third one wanted to be a channel. And you know me, and I like to listen to my guidance. And I don't know, maybe I'll learn something today. So as always with these things, I don't know what's going to come through. My intention is to ask the question about why your vibe matters. Because actually, when I think I shared with you, when the title of it came in, I didn't realize the play in words as it came in that your vibe matters. And since that original workshop, it's been interesting how that energy has been playing with me. Um, it seems to be coming in like from all lens around intuition. It seems to be coming in around like even how like how I'm working in my business. Obviously about the manifestation um aspects. There's a lot. And so I thought, well, who knows better than vibes mattering than my team, who are probably the same team that gave me the title Your Vibe Matters in the first place. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm always happy for them to be interactive. So if you are here live, then I do recommend or I do request questions. Stacia is holding the space tonight. So she's in charge of the Zoom room, of muting you, of unmuting you, of reading the questions. I don't mind if anyone wants to read a question out, like say a question to me, to the channel, or just type it out. What I'm going to ask about the questions is you just keep them like concise. Don't give me a whole or them a whole massive backstory about why you want to ask the question. And the reason for that is for me and my energy, it like my human will be like to answer that. And my energy will start to dip. Like I find that, and this I'm telling you all of this because you're all in soul space and you're all, potential channelers, and you've probably done the channeling course that I did, right? That when for me when I'm doing this work, it is about keeping the energy high. Yeah, it is about understand for me it is about when I speak, yeah, when the voice is coming through me, it keeps my energy up. And so if there's a 10-minute question, my energy will dip and I might just kind of pull out of my thing a bit. Okay, so if you're going to ask a question, just kind of keep it, you know a minute or whatever, couple of lines. And also for this, let's be mindful that this is for soul space. So like not so much what's in my future. Let's be more about the subject. Okay. I just want to say hi to Stephanie. It's been a long time since I've seen you in the space. So hello. Um, does that feel good? Have I covered what I need to cover? So questions, pop them in the chat. Stacia um will read them out for me. If you want to do it, there'll probably be a time I'll ask for questions. I'm happy for that. But let's just try and keep the energy moving. We're going to keep it to about an hour. So we'll probably wrap up around about 1:45, unless my energy dips and it wants to be less than that. I don't know. I can only do what I can do. So that's that. What I do as well is I have created the space. So I've created the circle, and I know that this is going out to some people on the recording. So you're included in this circle, and anyone who's not arrived yet will be welcomed into the sacred space. And who I connect into are my guidance team. I have a feeling that they'll be quite alieny. I'm not sure they'll be the earthly ones today, but we'll see what comes in. I'm going to put a card. And also just make sure you keep yourself muted if possible. I also feel it's a bit angelic that's coming in as well. Okay, see you in an hour. So I'm just going ahead and calling in my evolution team, my guidance team, and those that are here to help us to understand the your vibe matters, to help us live a life that is more impeccable, that we are living our divine purpose, our divine destiny, and to really help us with what it is that we need to know in these moments and in these moments that follow. I ask that any information and any being that comes in comes through of the highest guidance and of the highest light and comes through my platinum shield and through my platinum net. And that all words that come from me are spoken with love and kindness and gratitude. And my duty to be impeccable to the channel that comes through as I just allow for my ego, for my brain, for my mind to just step a little outside. I'm still present here. To set a little aside as I bring in the energies and the frequencies of these highlight beings who are here to join us today. So we are welcomed into this beautiful and glorious space today, and we thank you for making our vibration matter as you do in the human form today. For we are, and we can hear that some of you have these questions of who are we? And actually, it is interesting that Melissa has called these us through because we are vibration that is not in matter. We are vibration that exists as form, we exist as a form of being which is likened to you like water. It is not water. It is not made out of hydrogens and oxygens. It is a another element that is undescribable in human form, but in the terms of what you might understand is you would experience us like water. And so we hold this form, but not in matter as you do. It is more like the form of steam, of evaporation, which you cannot so much touch or feel, but is made from this, if you like, wetness. We understand that this may seem a little obscure, but we hear your questions as to who we are and why we are here. Now, your vibe matters. Your vibration comes to matter, and no truer words have been said because it is actually the human form that is the creator. It is interesting for us that you often speak of the creator as something separate for you. And whilst there is an infinite source, whilst there is the, if you like, the creator of the creators, you humans, human beings above other beings in the multi-dimensionality that we know as the universe, it is the humans that are in fact the conduit that make thought, that make vibration, that make emotion, that make frequency come into being. And it is through your senses, which some of you call your imagination. It is through the way that you envisage and the way that you hear and the way that you feel that encourages the vibration to begin to take form. And then it is usually a human being who then brings this into fruition. Now, this is in some ways, as we hear some of your questions of, well, what about trees and what about lakes and what about flowers? There is a truth to that, that without the human form, the landscape that you know as Earth would be vastly different, because the Earth has been, despite what common thoughts may suggest, the earth has been provided for humans as your let's call it playgrounds, because it is a playground. This has always been there for you to enjoy and to be in joy in this space. And you know this because when you are taking a walk and you are in pure nature, your feelings tell you that you feel good. And when you see the sun moving through the tree and you appreciate the beauty of it, or you see a flower blooming and you appreciate the majesty of this flower, or you smell the scent of the rose and you appreciate how magnificent this is, you can understand that it is through your senses that the world is experienced. But we would like to tell you this, that it is also through your senses that the world comes into experience. This is not to say that there would be no Earth without human, but Earth would be very different to how it is now. It is your consciousness and your presence that is what is creating Earth as we know this. It's very much is the playground for the humans. And yes, you are joined by these beautiful animals and wildlife and plants and crystals and also elementals and other beings that you may or may not be aware of, yet it is all here to support the human form as we know it. For the human form is the and we don't mean this in form of a hierarchy, but the human form is we'll use the word important. Humans have a very special job in the grand tapestry that we call the universal bodies. And your creator status is one of the things that makes this such a special realm that you live in. So please never doubt that your vibration matters. It is your senses, it is your thoughts, it is your understanding of the world, it is your desires, it is also your fears, it is also your everything that you are feeling and everything that you are imagining that eventually can make it down into the earth. Please understand that you are very powerful beings. And please understand that this is not a warning to say that every single thing that you have ever thought will become, but on some level it does. If you imagine that as you have a thought, or as you have a feeling, or as you have a sensation, it causes a ripple that comes from the human out into the world. Your thoughts do not just simply live in your head. They live in a field that is responding all of the time to your thoughts and your mind and your emotional field and the way that you step through the world. So the actions that you take, if you like, create an energetic imprint in this field, which you might know to stack above each other. How we will say, if you imagine like a supercomputer, that every drop of air contains this information that contains whole universes within it. And it is when you are perceiving, it is when you are in your thoughts, when you are in your imagination, if you like, that some of these thoughts are mm, picked out. They are brought to the surface, much like when you are using your computer, it can have tons and tons of files, and then it is when you want to pick one that this file then comes onto the screen, and then you are able to read it, and you are even able to print it, and then it comes into life. And in fact, now with the technology of what you call 3D printers, this gives you an understanding of how a creation can happen. First of all, in the mind, you have a thought of what something could look like, and then you create it through your imagination and through taking action on your with your keyboard, and then it spits out through this printer a physical three-dimensional object. This is not too far off what actually truly happens, with just a few, if you like, slightly different steps. Now, those thoughts are both created by you. So, those thoughts in that drop of air that you are imprinting as you think, they are both created by you and they are also received by you. So, if you think about when you are walking along and you are thinking about something and your mind has gone and is wandering in, and then suddenly you have an idea, suddenly an impression, it seems to be somehow imprinted upon your mind. This is because this is what is happening. There is a resonance. It's like you have stepped into a pocket of air, if you like, that holds a code that unlocks the mm, mm, imprint, the technology, the vision, the frequency, the sensation of what may want to be birthed by you. And depending on your openness and depending on your feeling and depending on your state of mind in the moment, will depend on how much of this information you receive, what type of information you receive, how open you are to the information that is received, and indeed how likely you are to take it within and begin the creation process, which you might know as taking in through your mind as you begin to see it, and then moving it down into your throat as you begin to speak about it and share about it. And then you bring it into the heart space where you begin to understand how this is going to have positive impact for yourself, yes, and to improve your experience of love and joy in this world, and how this is going to help other people, which then moves into your solar plexus, which is the force that helps you take action and to bring the fire into this, the creative flame, which then comes down into your sacral, which is when you create. This is when you begin to birth. And then it comes down into the root where it forms into manifest. This is a very simple idea of how the manifestation process works. Of course, your crown is where your connection is with source. That often it is, again, depending on your vibration and on your state of mind and state of being, that source that you know as the creator of the creator, your higher self who resides, if you like, with that aspect of creator, can provide you with information. And this is key. This is key to understanding what is aligned for you, what is meant to be birthed by you, what is there for you, rather than you walking in, for example, if you are feeling low or feeling down or feeling angry or feeling resentment or feeling envy or feeling despair, and you walk into a, you may call an inspiration, it is coming from, if you like, a lower level of vibration. We are not saying that this is bad. We are not saying that you have to be in full joy all of the time, but just knowing that your vibration does have a influence on which levels of these air pockets, these information pockets, you are able to access at each time, and the likelihood of you bringing it into birth and through the whole center of your body. We are reminding you also of this, that your body is the vehicle. Your consciousness is the wave, the receiver of the transmission, if you like, that wants to come through you. Your body is the creator. The body is the vehicle that you need for things to create. For we have shared with you that we are a form. This is not really present on Earth, that is similar to steam in your language, which is a very high vibration of water, as you may know. We are unable to manifest in the same way. We are able to have experiences that are absolutely glorious. We are able to be in joy and to experience life like you may never have understood it to be. And we have a lightness, and we have a love, and we have an experience that flows, and we can think of something in a moment and then it is there. However, it is not there in physical form as you are there in physical form. It is not there as an object that I can touch and feel or sit within or ride or use. It is more if we asked you to imagine yourself sitting in a vehicle now. If we said to you, you are sitting in a beautiful, comfortable vehicle, in fact, the vehicle of your dreams. Maybe this is a car, or maybe this is something else for you. But just imagine yourself now sitting in a vehicle, and you can feel the seats underneath you and the steering wheel in your hand, or perhaps you choose to be chauffeur driven and you are simply stroking the dashboard. And maybe there is some beautiful music playing that absolutely moves your soul, and perhaps you can smell the smell of the car as as it encompasses you, and the feeling of how it feels to be in this car. And perhaps for some of you, you can really create that experience and that sensation. This is similar to how we experience things, and we can do so in the moment, so it feels real. However, like we are steam, it is very as we manifest, as we experience, it's almost like steam being with steam. It is hard to, you could not sit on it. It is not solid. However, as you just experience yourself in this vehicle, even though it is not there, you can certainly have an enjoyment. You can certainly have an awareness of what it may feel like, either through memory or through pure imagination. And so we wish to remind you that your imagination is a very powerful tool, that this is a co-creation, that this is as much about you feeding this field, these air pockets that we speak of, these information chips, if you like, that are all around you, everywhere, in every moment. It is as much about you feeding them, and each of your thoughts goes into this field, each of your desires go into these fields, and each of your emotions and your, if you like, thoughts that have strong feelings attached to them go into this field, and they change what is in there. They have an impact into the levels, if you like, of what is in there, and it is a receptor of information too. You can imagine it like when you have a dream, you know that you have had a dream, you remember that you have had a dream, and you might remember the sensation or the feeling that the dream has left you with. You may get an impression of whether this dream was good or bad. And we are talking about nighttime dreams here. And then as you come to remember it or speak about it, and you move your mind to something else and you turn off your alarm clock, and then you come back and then the dream has gone. And then sometime, somewhere where you are just simply standing or being or back in this beautiful state of openness, then suddenly the dream almost comes back. And maybe it comes back in a very full form, or maybe it comes back in a fleeting moment. It is like this. This is true for all of your thoughts. And it is the state of your vibration that will determine which of these pockets of information you will have access to in the moment. You have a very powerful information system that will tell you whether or not those thoughts are yours to bring into fruition. And this is where your physical body comes into play. Your physical body's job is, in fact, apart from to sustain you and to have you experience life and indeed to anchor you down into this world, which is not your natural state, your physical body's job is to in fact manifest. This is the job that you have, is to be creators and is to manifest, and your body will tell you very much so whether something is good to manifest or not good to manifest, whether something feels that it is important for it to come through you, whether it is beneficial to you and to the people around you and indeed to the world. Your body knows, and it knows through an expansion or contraction. As we began with understanding that we are like water, or you are more like ice, you are more like the solid matter, but yet we are all made of the same things. It is the same with your thoughts and the things that you want to manifest. They all exist as we do in steam form. And as Melissa opened up her body and her mind and her energy field and invited this energy in and felt the safety and felt the openness and felt the curiosity and allowed for things to happen, we began to change form into more of a water fluid state, which now can flow through Melissa's mind, body. And there are aspects of us now that are more similar to, I would say, more like slush than ice, but still a more solid form. This is same is true for your manifestations. Your body is your key to knowing if this is yours to bring in and to bring through this understanding of expansion and contraction, through this understanding of knowing that this feels good. And we do not mean this in a hedonistic way. We mean this in a full body way, in a heart. Your heart is the key indeed to this. And as you bring it through each of your energy centers, you will know, yes, this is true, or no, this is not. Be very careful if it comes through all the way, if it manages to come all the way down through past your heart into your solar plexus, and then it comes at a stop when it gets to your sacral. This is not a no. This is a we do not feel safe. This is a there is some work to do. This is a we really want to manifest, or it wouldn't have come all the way down through past your heart, through into your solar energy. But if it comes to the lower chakras, and this is where you feel the resistance, it is simply an invitation to become more embodied and to do the work that may be important for you and for your evolution, which inevitably allows you to manifest in better ways. Remember, we said the purpose of you being here, the reason for humanity is to create. And the reason for humanity is to create in higher and higher and higher forms. And for you to create in higher and higher and higher forms, it is asking you to be impeccable with your body and your what you may call your intuition, and knowing that there is always an evolution, not because you are broken, not because you are wrong, not because things are not right, but because there is more. Just like a baby turns into an adult, the baby isn't wrong for being a baby. The baby is simply in its form. So please know this and bear this in mind. We would like to make space and opportunity for some questions, and please begin to write these. Or Stacia, our host this evening, we wonder if there's anything that has moved through you that you wish to ask us today.
Would it be possible? You spoke of contraction and expansion, and I feel so many people feel that expansion, but then they're limited to something they're holding in their energy field. So if you have any guidance on how they could maybe fulfill bigger portions of themselves that they're just not able to tap into yet.
This is a very excellent question and feeds very nicely into this form of evolution, because we want to challenge you with that had the information come through to you, and so you felt that expansion, you felt that, yes, this energy feels that this is right for me, and it has come through. You have walked into, if you like, this pocket. You have experienced that, yes, this feels good, and your body has somehow said to you, yes, I wish to manifest that. This is this expansion energy. And then something comes in and comes through like which may be a contraction, which you could imagine that where there is this big energy, if you were trying to catch steam, what would you do? Well, first of all, you need to slow it down, which maybe does not feel so good. And then you need to find a container that will hold this space. You might like this to a suction pad, which is then sucking through the like you have in your cooking devices where they come up through the fan. You will you have to create this vessel. Now, sometimes there will be experiences that you experience as hard or as blocks or as this is too much for me. And this, we tell you, is your evolution path. This is the clues as to this is what I need to be working on right now. This is the healing that can happen. This is the challenge that I am here because, as we said, evolution is your purpose, because you are here to create, and you are here to create ever expanding forms of higher and higher manifestations. But how can you bring through the higher forms of manifestations if you are not growing or evolving? And so, you having received this and then hitting what you might call a stumbling block, that stumbling block is your key to go, aha, this is where I need to bring attention and awareness right now. Aha, this is what is going to help me in other aspects of my life. Aha, this is what is going to help humanity. If you remember, we said that your energy moves into this field and into this pocket of information. And as your vessel becomes more, we will use the term higher vibration, then you are giving more higher vibration information into the field, which is part of the purpose of the humanity's evolution. And so every time you receive an opportunity, an invitation to begin to manifest something, an idea, a, an experience, a inspiration, then this is your opportunity to grow. And perhaps the reason why this manifestation came to you as it did, in the form that it did, and in the form that you are, is to accelerate your growth path so that you become prepared, so that when this, whatever it is, wants to come into Earth, because it does, because it's found a human, which happened to be you, to bring it into form, you are invited to be the one that is able to hold this. Does this answer your question?
Yes, yes, that very much so. We have a comment that Caroline had been on a boat trip and she felt the water shifted in her energy. And she's wondering if this is maybe linked to this channeling today. And I too have been feeling a lot of different shifts. And I know you said that the thoughts that are created by us are actually received by us.
Yeah.
And if you have anything you want to speak on to that, that would be wonderful.
Your water. It is no coincidence that water has come as a theme today. Your water on Earth is a very unique substance, and as we shared, the our form is closest to this, and yes, it is made up of different molecules, if you like. Yet the your earth water is in fact what you might know as like a giant crystal. It is full of information. It is full of the consciousness of those whom have touched it. It is both a vehicle of receiving and of transmitting. And there are some wonderful people on your earth today who are doing some very good work with the water. It is also no coincidence that you are made up of a large amount of water. And in fact, you can use your water source to help you with your manifestation progress, because water has no resistance to energy. Water just is, and this is the path that you are all taking. This is part of the evolution of yes, bringing it through the body, and yes, having discernment. But when you really come into these higher echelons of evolution, you will understand that everything that you are receiving is meant to be for you, and everything that you are giving is meant to be received, and there is no resistance, and therefore it is simply flow. There is no coincidence that this word flow is a water word. And so you can use the water to program the things that you feel resistance to. So, for example, this manifestation that you spoke about, Stacia, which is that I felt an expansion and then it went to a contraction. The water will not feel that contraction. So, what if you gave that vision to the water and allowed for the vision to imprint onto the water that you are drinking or that you are offering to the earth? And then you work with that. You may anoint, you may drink, you may offer, and know that you have in some way, because the water is a recording device, you have through your consciousness made this manifestation into form. It is not quite the form that you are hoping for, because you are hoping that the vehicle ends up landing on your driveway. However, if you imagine, if it is the vehicle that you are trying to manifest, that you see it and you feel it and you imagine it being in the water will simply hold that image and that frequency and that vibration and that knowing in the same way that you are thinking of it. We share this as an important fact because if you are thinking of the vehicle and you are thinking of it in terms of I will never have it, it is not fair, nobody loves me and it cannot be for me, then you will that is the energy that will be imprinting alongside the vehicle. However, if you can bring that envision into the love of the vehicle and the love of the car and the gratitude of this being possible and the knowing that you are indeed bringing into form, it contains a very different imprint than it would do if it is coming from fear. And so we want to say, work with your water. It is a very precious source. It is abundant. It can also remind you of the abundance of what is possible on the earth. The water is not ever just destroyed, and the water is not ever created, although you can use it as a creative force as it keeps on cycling around. And knowing that when you do this and when you imprint water, with the manifestation filled with love, that this water will for generations and generations touch and feed your ancestors and the animals and the plants and all life, because this is the nature of water.
Oh, I love that. We do have a question, whether water has consciousness, and if water is able to hold the memory of the earth, could it be part of the Akashic records?
It certainly is from this understanding. If you Mm, the Akashic records are a field which are contained within all things, and so yes, you are an Akashic record, and the water is an Akashic record, and so is a blade of grass an Akashic record, if you like to speak of it in those terms. And yes, you can use the water as a record. It has the imprint of the strongest energy, if you like, that has last been imprinted upon it. And it can also and will. It will respond to your energy and your openness. So you can take water from a home of somebody and you will be able to pick up the frequency that is in the home. You may pick up certain memories, you may pick up feelings, you may pick up incidents, you may pick up words, which are all coming in some way or another from the Akashic field. Mm, and so, yes, the water is holding this memory pocket. However, it is not as simple as the water are the Akashic records, but yet they are also not separate. And so we invite the questioner to work with that, because it seems to us that the water is speaking to them in that way and inviting them into an exploration, and to notice how when they work with water and they ask the water questions, which may be to do with their life, we invite them to take a vessel, something that feels sacred to them, and to place it somewhere that is sacred for them, in their fields, that sits within their fields, perhaps even by their bed, and to sit with it and to request information from it and to journey with it. And we believe that you will have a very vast experience of what is possible for you. And then when you discard of the water, know that you are not discarding it, you are placing it back in the earth. And so we invite you to do that very mindfully when you work with sacred water in this way.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I have a question. Um, you've likened yourself to a frequency that is very similar to what we might think of a form of water. Would I be in maybe a correct thinking that maybe water actually is the key to connecting to our higher self, or at a more conscious level? I'm not sure how to put it through, but if if we're connecting with the water, are we able then to maybe have a stronger connection to that part of ourself that resides with you?
Water can certainly be a key. For some of you, the water will be the key. For some of you, this will be through other elements. For some of you, you resonate very much with the crystal beings, and that holds a similar energy. For some of you, it is more in the plant kingdom. For some of you, it is with the wind. For some of you, it is with the sun, and it is that you are all very different, and these things are accessible to all of you. For some of you, also, we'd like to say it is with the stars. It is in the night sky where you feel this. And so, yes, if you are curious about whether water will connect you in with your higher self, then the answer for you is probably yes. We feel indeed for you and for the questioner here that yes, it is certainly a key. And as certainly as you use the water for that, and as you begin to connect with the water in this way and understand its sacredness, the water has a sacredness, and sometimes humankind can forget that because it is an abundant resource, and because it is there, and because you can turn on your modern day taps and experience all of the water in the world, that there is a forgetfulness as to how precious this resource is. Also, there has been a lot of talk about the state of the water now. The state of the water is fine. It is the state of the consciousness that needs looking at. And as the consciousness raises, and there are more people like you who work with water in this way, you will find that naturally the water does become cleaner, and therefore the consciousness will become cleaner. And like the water is a cycle, it will keep on moving around that. And so, yes, please do use water as the vehicle to access your higher consciousness. And you can use the same method of having a sacred vessel nearby you. For you, maybe not by your bed. For you, maybe it may be somewhere that feels more angelic for you. And you can use the water, and you can anoint your crown and your third eye and your heart, and even your sacral and even your root, to bring this frequency in with you.
Well, thank you very much for that. I don't see any more questions, but I would like to maybe tap into more of raising our vibration, and especially in the times where we're not feeling our best. And I feel like sometimes we have a tendency to not, I don't want to say try as hard, but simplicity of things that can actually bring us up when we're not where we want to be, if that makes sense.
It can seem like a catch-22, because if you imagine this field in which you live in, it is always a response of your vibration. And so, as we suggested, as you are walking along and you are feeling how you are feeling, the frequency of the information that is going to come to you is going to be of an energetic match to that frequency. And so when you are feeling low, it is without coincidence that then more things come that make you feel low, because this is where your focus is in. And so we invite you to come back into the simple things, and we remind you that your breath, and how good if we invite you to breathe now and just to take a nice breath in and then breathe out through the body and sigh, actually how good that feels in the moment. Small processes like this, where you are using the body, where you are softening the body. Often when things are feeling hard, what the human tries to do is escape, because where we are, things do not feel hard like you do. And you remember that in some way. You have not all come from where we are. However, we have all come essentially from the same source, and you remember that. And so when things are feeling too much for human, and you are picking up more of the lower form energies, it feels natural to escape. Yet, as you remember, your purpose of this life is to bring in manifestation, to create, and to raise your frequency for when you are not creating the thing that you want. It is this invitation of, okay, what else needs to happen with me? And so you can bring your awareness back into your body, and find the most comfortable spot of your body. Find the thing that feels good. Go and book yourself and have a massage, or go and have a hug with your friend, or go and find something soft to put on your skin, and remind your body that it is safe, and that you are evolving, and that you are moving through, and that this is the other purpose uh, to life, to evolve. And this is all part of an evolution process. Now, we do not say this to belittle the things that you are going through. We know that the human form can be very hard, which is why we have so much respect for human, and which is also why there are so many beings out there that are supporting the human race, because it is a hard lifetime to for some of you endure. However, there is always the light there. And as we suggested, for some of you, the key to your higher consciousness is through water. If that is you, go and have a nice warm bath or shower, or go and drink a nice refreshing drink. For some of you, it is sun and heat and fire. And so, if that is for you, you can go and you can find the sun upon your skin and just feel how good it feels to have the sun on your skin. For some of you, it is the wind and the air. And if that is for you, you can go in and you can find a nice fresh breath. You can go and be in the and feel the difference between warm and cool. You can use your physical body and your movements in different ways. And so there is always something. And so we invite you to remember that your vibration is the thing that determines which pocket of information you are receiving. And so, where in your current space can you improve by 1 point? Where in your space can you improve by just 1 point? One softness for one moment, and that will automatically, in a very quick shift, change the frequency and the level of the file that you are retrieving from this space. And you keep doing this one by one from your body. Feel your body. Do not leave your body. Maybe you leave for a while, we understand that, but always come back, because it is your vehicle that is going to be making the greatest change. And this lifetime, you chose to come to Earth, and part of being on Earth is being in the body. So just do not forget that.
Oh, thank you so much. I love the connecting to the elements that are essential to who we are as a soul and what drives us. We do have a question that says, how can we best connect with our soul purpose when we have diverse interests and skills? And we may feel like sometimes we have to decide between them, between our passions. If you have any guidance on that.
Yes, your passion, your purpose to life is to be who you are. And part of that is knowing which is real passion and which is not real passion. And so your purpose of life is to be who you are. And we do this through evolution. Who you are today is very different to who you are moving into. Yet in fundamental terms, you are always as you have been. We say this for your highest destiny already exists in some field. You are just not there in your human form. Now, if you have a variety of passions, it is not part of the plan for you to pick one and not have another. It is part of the plan for you to experience your passions and to experience the joy that you have in this, and to work through the things that you need to cultivate in order for these passions to become manifest and come into reality. As we have said, now this is your path and this is your purpose. Your purpose is not, as some people may think, to do a certain thing. It is not, well, I am a good pianist, so therefore I must play the piano forever. The purpose of that pianist is, I feel the music coming through me, and sometimes I find this difficult, and sometimes I get frustrated, and sometimes my life or my children or my money gets in the way. But how can I bring my passions together so that I can even experience this playing of the piano? This does not mean that it has to be your money source, and if it is, then this is wonderful. But it means, how do I find and present my life that my passions come first? It is not your destiny to have to sacrifice one thing over another, unless that is the truth that you are seeking. We wish to say to this questioner maybe some of the things that you are wanting to wondering if you need to give up or have one instead of the other. Part of your purpose is to really get clear on which one is your true mm, soul field, which one gives you the true expansion from the upper energy centers. This is where you will feel it, as we have said, as you bring it down, you may feel the resistance. And this may be where, oh, well, I cannot have this, but I can't have this. This is not the point. The point is, which one is it that you really, really want? And that will be your path to discovery and your path to evolution. And maybe the question becomes, how do I have it all? Maybe you keep asking yourself, how do I have it all? How do I have it all? How do I have all of the things that I adore? How do I have all of the things that are meant for me? And connecting in with your highest wisdom and into your higher self, and let them guide you. And yes, there are many rituals and there are many practices that you can do, but do not think that your higher self is waiting for you to say a certain magic phrase. They are not. Your higher self is there and is always there and is simply waiting for you to say, hello, what do I do today? Hello, help me with this. And when we don't, we rely on other aspects of our ecosystem. This is true for all beings, which is why we say we. For human, it's harder because for human, you have a physical brain which enjoys talking, and you have a physical body which also can give you very conflicting information. And so your purpose becomes, how do I be more present? How do I know which one is the right thing for me? How do I know whether I am rejecting this because it feels hard as it moves in down through my chakras? Or how am I knowing or taking on something that I have outgrown? Sometimes something is ours until a point, and then it is not ours anymore. And part of the evolution path is to know when to let go.
Wow. I I love that. She's the functional medicine doctor, and she really has that calling of, that soul purpose of energy healing and all of the things woo. And as you were telling us, this incredible guidance, it really made me think about how we as humans, even though we're creators, we paint ourselves into boxes.
Yeah.
And I feel like we sometimes don't understand that we have the ability to pull out the paintbrush and change the landscaping. So I love that you said, how do I have it all? Um, is there any way that we could maybe tap into more of maybe that question as far as changing our vibration to understand how much we matter and letting go of those limitations that we place on ourselves so that we can come up with what our soul wants us to know?
The limitations, we remind you, are part of the path. The limitations aren't meant to just be shrugged off and left behind. The limitations are there to help you build your resolve. The limitations are there to help you evolve. For some of you, and for some limitations, they are there to they may be karmic echoes. They may be soul contracts. They may be aspects that you have come here to work through and to evolve through. And so your limitations are not there to limit you. Your limitations are there for you to work through, because as you do this, you strengthen those resources that you already have. For many of you, you awaken the resources, and we'd like to show you the example of when you have been through something very hard, and you may have seen a friend or a celebrity move through something similar and gone, I could never cope and be and do something like that. And then it happens to you and you realize how well you do cope. It's often the fear of the fear itself that is the issue. And so we invite you to treat your limitations as challenges, as invitations, as curiosities, and to meet those limitations with the vision of the manifestation that it is that you wish to manifest. And so we come back to coming into this tapping into your higher self and into the higher wisdom, coming in through the crown, so that the information that is coming to you is the divinely led source information, rather than just what you happen to be walking into through the field. We ask you to do that every day, every morning when you wake up, before you walk into the field. Remember, you contain many aspects of the field in those devices that you all keep by your beds. Before you reach those, before you even see if you have a partner in your room, before you awaken to the outside, is to tap into the higher self in that which is the easier moment, and ask for it to guide you, ask for it to show you where to go, ask for it to tell you and to remind you how incredible you are, ask it to remind you exactly why you are here on earth today. And then, as your limitation comes, let that higher self meet the limitations, as you call them, and ask, what resources do I have to move through them? Is this an old story that can be let go? And if that is yes, then what is the new story that is being rewritten now? Is this something that I need to resolve because there is somebody else involved here? And so it is inviting in a conversation or an action or a ceremony of some description. This is what you do every day, every moment. The limitations are part of what it is to be human. Where we are limitless. We do not have the physical body. We do not have the time. We do not have the space. We only have the physical body. But it takes human, like we are today, for us to come in and for our words to be heard. If there was no human willing to do this work, we would simply be doing our things in what you call space. And having no physical impact on Earth, we would still have an energetic frequency, you understand. And so please remember that your limitations are not we understand they feel like a bad thing, but they are part of the human evolution path.
Wow. Thank you so much. I really love that, you know, changing the way we see the limitations, because I feel like so much of the spiritual path that many of us are on put limitations as something that we need to get over, and taking that as an invitation to really to get curious and to move through it is just absolutely wonderful. This has been incredible. I wanted to ask if there's any more questions or any further guidance you might have before we wrap up.
We witness all of you with your openness to learn and to grow. And we want to remind you that this information that is being transmitted today has been transmitted because you are all here and willing to experience another point of view. And actually, this transmission has come for your willingness to evolve, which is becomes your duty as part of humanity right now, because not all humans are willing to evolve. Now, this, no pressure, this makes your work more important, because we would like to give you this, that if you imagine this field that we speak about, which contains all of these information pockets, microchips, let's call them microchips, that every single person, whether they are what you may call high vibrational or low vibrational, is all are all feeding this field. And if we think that the low vibrational field contains a number of one, and the high vibrational field contains the number of 1,000, then all it takes is for a few humans who are vibrating at 1,000, and that will counteract thousands of humans and thoughts that are at number one. This is true for the micro and the macro. So if you are having a bad day or a thought that does not feel good that you might think would be scored as a 1. If you decide to have a thought that is a 50 or is a 100 or indeed is a 1000, this may be coming to listen to something like this, for we hold a frequency here of around about 700 now, which is influencing your field in this moment. And you can ask for help and ask for support. You can take your crystals, you can come into a gratitude practice, you can do many things to raise that frequency and that vibration. And every time you do that, if you like, binary number goes from 1 to 700, as if by automatically. This transmission is feeding this field with a long, in your words, time, concentration of very high frequency, which, even though there are only a number of you watching this both now and in the future, that even though that this is true from a frequency level, the vibration is increasing across the field. So if you imagined it like water, as we have been speaking so much of water, if you had put a color in the water, if we said that we were yellow and we put that in the water, you would see that the water would change color, and all of the water would change color. And the more of the concentration of the different colors there are, the more the water will change. This is the same for you. That the willingness and the openness and the curiosity and that practice that we shared with you, that every moment, every morning you come into this high frequency state. You can even say, I tap in now to the frequency of 1000. And your higher self will understand what that means. And even for 1 second, that number comes in and comes through. It changes you and the output of your day. And it also changes the frequency of the field as a whole, which, from our perspective, yes, we are here to support the individual, but we are here to support humanity as a whole. For this is how this is how evolution of the earth is happening. And so we give gratitude for you for being here and for the openness that you have shared and for the role that you have chosen to take and for hearing the call and answering the call. Not everyone does this, and for continuing to tread this path, or should we say swim this ocean for this lifetime. We honor you for that, and please know that we are always here supporting you. You only need to have that intention and that request and that openness, and know that we are here with our frequency, imparting it upon you should you wish it, and invite us in. We thank you for your time and for your space. It is now time for us to go back and be the steam that we are, and to enjoy all of the fruits of our universe. And so we thank you for your openness and for your witness.
Thank you so much for your willingness to be open and bring through this guidance. This is really incredible. Thank you.
You're welcome. One moment. Okay, we good? Okay, well, that was fun. My door opened. That's my door is open. I don't know how it's opened, but my door is open. I don't know why. Okay, I'm going to go and ground. Please pop in the Facebook group. Just if you've got any questions or how you feel, what came up. Yeah. I'm going to show you the card. I pulled 3. If any I want to know how you feel, like what's changed for you, what you got from it. Um, so three cards. The Water Guardian, like obviously. The Eagle, so the higher perspective, and the Moon, so it's all very watery. Um, yeah, I don't know what to say. I can't think right now. You okay, Caroline?
Yeah, that's very interesting because while they were doing that, I felt the need to pull a card, and I have the same deck as you have tonight.
And what? Hold on, I can't see it. Oh, is that the
We've got
crone?
yeah, which is set your sights higher, but it's the same deck that you're using there tonight. So
Well,
yeah,
really well. Okay. Well, that was good. Do you know what I might do? I might put this on my YouTube channel. Would that be right with everyone? Is it all right with you, Stacia?
Of course.
I might just do that.
that was amazing, Mel. Totally.
Okay. There was a lot there, wasn't there? Okay.
But it was so good, and and it really took us through this journey of being human,
Mm,
and that fluidity of I love the water, and the little things that we overlook. It
mm,
was just all there. So yeah,
mm.
put that out.
Yeah, I might put it on there. It just feels like it's 111. The recording transcriptions 111. Um, okay. I might do that. I'm just gonna sit with it for a bit because I'm definitely not grounded right now. So I'm gonna go and do that. I'm just gonna go and ground. And yeah, please pop in the group. I know there's only a few of us, but please pop in the group like what you think, because I think this is something that the rest of Soul Space needs to have a little listen to.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And the questions were amazing. And Stacia, thank you for holding the space for us. And if we like that, maybe we'll bring the channel in more often. Um, I think it's the third time we've brought the channel into Soul Space. So okay. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ground. Okay, love you all. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye. Bye.